from the first time that you talked to him to the time that you got paid $47,000 net, how long of a timeline was that?
So we signed a contract, I think April 29th. March, end of March, sorry.
Okay.
And the deal closed beginning of May, like May 5th.
Okay, so about, a month,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 6 weeks.
Yeah, a little bit over a month, yeah.
So, and you made 47
Yes,
in 6 weeks,
in 6 weeks,
not 10 months,
not 10 months.
not having to bring in your three brothers and your dad,
Yeah, exactly.
not having to swing a hammer,
Right.
not having to paint an exterior. Like I am telling you, the magic is in finding the deals. Welcome back to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast, America's #1 podcast for new real estate investors. I am your host, Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People, and I have an incredible guest on the podcast for the very first time. He is out of Cincinnati, Ohio, and the interesting thing about Cincinnati is typically the deals in Cincinnati are kind of between that, 8 and 10 or 12,000. But my guest today is doing bigger deals, and he's going to show us exactly how he's doing that in his market there in Cincinnati. He's wholesaling, he's flipping. It is my pleasure to introduce to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast, David Niehaus. David, how are you, brother?
Doing great, Brent. Thanks for having me, man. It's great to be on.
Yeah, well, this is exciting. So, first of all, you are in a market where, there are some price points that are really low. There's some really decent price points. When you're going after and you're looking at your market there in Cincinnati, are you specifically going after the properties that are more expensive, or what is your strategy there for the properties that you're trying to get a hold of the property owners and see if they would consider an offer on their property?
Yeah, there's definitely, a price that we have in mind. I kind of know what my buyers are buying at, and they'd like to be all in, at least for rentals. Flip's a different story, but most of the big buyers of rentals over here, and they like to be all in on a property between 125 to 140,000. So I'm going after properties, a lot of them under 100,000, trying to find those properties, and because I already know what my end buyer is going to buy at, and it makes it a little bit easier because I know that they're going to be there.
I love that. And listen, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, I'm not in Cincinnati, this is for any market, right? This is for any market that has these similar price points, that it's not the average home sale price isn't $500,000. This is getting tighter on the numbers. And the reason I want to have this conversation with David is because one, he's getting bigger deals, but two, it's really interesting how much over the last 6 months, a year, repair costs, renovation costs have really affected the market if you're under 150,000, because $50,000 rehab for a $150,000 house is much different than a $50,000 rehab for a $500,000 house. So we're going to be getting into all of that. I just kind of wanted to tease everybody here as they're watching this. Let's first find out about you, David. What were you doing before you discovered the beautiful world of wholesaling real estate?
Yeah, man. So I was a former college athlete, thought I was going pro, played football at the University of Cincinnati. Had a lot of friends that started going pro, and I thought this could be for me. So I was training. I went through pro day, didn't really have any prospects or anything like that, but I kind of held on. This was back in 2018. I kind of held on for about a year trying to go to I forgot what that new league is that popped up, but I was like a reserve for one of the teams. If somebody got hurt, they would pull me up. But the crazy thing and so I was just working for my parents' tree company at the time, just kind of on again, off again while I was trying to still train and go pro. And then one day I was just scrolling on Instagram, I think, and I saw an ad, Damon John, an ad for Damon John. If you know who that is, the guy off of Shark Tank.
Of course, yeah.
There was an ad for coming to learn about e-commerce. So nothing to do with real estate, at least I thought. But it's one of those hotel seminars where they kind of get you where I thought Damon John was going to be there, but he wasn't. And then they actually had a little thing about real estate there, and I was pretty intrigued. So I ended up paying, I think it was like $2,000 to go to the next level and learn more about real estate. And then from that class, I actually met a lady that was in a wheelchair, and I partnered up with her, and we went to the next class, because of course they keep upselling you as you go along. But there I learned a lot. I kind of learned what ARV was. I learned how to kind of figure out what repair costs might be, just an estimate, and kind of like how to put together a wholesale deal. And that time, man, we were just putting out bandit signs. So from that, we were just going out the side of the road, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, putting out probably about 100 signs. And she would be the lady in the wheelchair, dude. She'd be driving her handicap van. I'd get out, put the signs out under cover of darkness, and just hope and pray that we'd get a call.
Yeah.
And, dude, the phone started ringing, I think, in September of 2019 is when I started that class. And then I closed my first deal in November. I made $6,000 from bandit sign. And if I knew what I would have known now, I would have made, more, probably about 25,000 on that. But I made 6,000, and it felt great, dude. I literally came down to the wire, found a buyer off of Craigslist, because I didn't really know what I was doing, but I just knew it was going to work, and I wanted to do it. And that's kind of how I got into it. Just kind of got into a real estate program, learned a little bit, and just went straight to taking action, putting out signs, and just believing that something was going to break. And then that's when I got my first break and closed my first deal. It felt pretty awesome.
I love it. So you mentioned something there that I think is maybe standing out in the minds of everybody watching and listening to this. And if you want to put a face to a voice, make sure you check out this interview, this conversation on the Brent Daniels YouTube channel. But you said that if I would have known then what I know now, I would have made 25,000. What do you know now that made you what's the $19,000 difference in your brain now that you didn't have when you were putting out bandit signs and getting this deal?
Dude, a lot. I would have known that there's a lot more buyers out there, and I should have been proactive instead of being reactive and just waiting for somebody to contact me off of Craigslist, just going out and networking, going out and talking to people, like I say, every day. If I would have known that, I would have had a lot more buyers, to choose from. And it was a pretty good deal. The lady bought it from me, and then she sold it immediately on a land contract, and she made a lot of money from it. But I made the money, and I was over the moon at the time, for sure.
I have this beautiful image of you got this team in the van, and you've got somebody that is in a wheelchair, and then you've got somebody that's a super athlete that was like just there at, just knocking on the door of the NFL, working together with a common bond of being successful in real estate. I think that's absolutely a beautiful image in my mind. And I think that it's really interesting when you start finding people that have a passion and aren't just interested in being a real estate entrepreneur, but truly committed to being a real estate entrepreneur. And I think that's the real big difference that I see, David. And I'm sure you saw it with a lot of the people that you've worked with and been around, and even in our community, there's commitment. There has to be commitment there. If you're just interested, anything's going to change your mind, and you're going to get distracted by a lot of different opportunities for business, and that's fine. But if you really want to be successful as a real estate entrepreneur, real estate investor, real estate wholesaler, there has to be that commitment. Do you think that commitment from you, do you think that stems from your commitment to being an athlete, committing to, a sport, committing to, being a part of a team? Do you think that there's anything that blends there, or do you think that it's just, something different?
I definitely think that it's part of that, being a part of the team, and being able to work together for everything to, benefit everybody, but also, setting a goal and believing that I can do something that I've never done before, and really going out of my comfort zone and believing, in my heart that I could do it. That was part of it. And just, I'm always, as a former athlete, I'm always trying to challenge myself. So I saw that as the next challenge to go after. And that's what really motivated me.
I love it. I love it. So obviously you weren't living. I assume you split the 6,000 and you're not living off that. I mean, were you doing a full-time? Did you have a full-time job? I mean, how are you providing for yourself during this time that you were, building momentum in your real estate business?
Yeah, at that time I was still working with my parents. So cutting down trees, doing some manual labor, probably making $15 an hour. I remember. So that's what I was making at that time.
And then you just went right into real estate. You didn't get all of a sudden deals started taking off in 2019 and you never looked back.
No, deals didn't start taking off. I eventually had a falling out with the lady in the wheelchair. So sorry to bring that good story down of good people. But
it happens.
I ended up closing 3 deals for her where I trusted her, didn't have a contract in place between me and her. I just had put all the contracts in her name, the assignment contracts, to where we closed 3 deals in about 3.5 months for about 30,000. And then she just kept all of it. So I was
that vision I just had. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
just shattered. Yeah.
But what did you learn from that?
I learned that, trust is a good thing, but sometimes you gotta always put things in writing.
Yeah.
No matter what partnership I go in, it's always got to be in writing. That's what I learned from there. And, I thought I was good. I thought I trusted her and everything, but it just didn't turn out that great. So at that time, dude, I was struggling. Like, I didn't think I should be in real estate anymore. Didn't think I should do anything. So for about 7 months, I didn't close any deals. I wasn't really doing anything. But then I had met somebody else, and from a bandit sign, I started putting out bandit signs again. I just thought, man, I got to get back into this. So closer into the probably mid of 2020, started putting out signs, and then I got a good lead on a foreclosure but then ended up turning into a short sale. So short sales take a long time, and that one took a long time. But I ended up making, what was it? Probably about 10,000 on that one, but it took forever to close. So I was still working full time with my dad until about December 2020. And then that's when that deal closed, and I had a couple more deals closed. And I didn't really start cold calling and stuff until about the year of 2021. And then I was cold calling. I got a couple deals closed, and I'm like, man, this is really difficult. Because I started on the Mojo Dialer. I was doing driving for dollars, but not on the scale that I didn't know the scale that I should have done it. Like, I was probably cold calling probably 500 or 600 leads at that time, and not knowing that I needed to really up those numbers. But then I found, I closed a couple deals just from personal referrals. I kind of got lucky. People referred me. They knew what I was doing, paid them a finder's fee, closed a couple deals. But then I found TTP. I got on a call, and it sounded right. So I decided that's what I wanted to do. And originally when I was watching your videos, I'm like, man, this guy's just telling me to do what I'm already doing. Like, I don't need this guy, but I did literally what you said to do. And I got a contract. I got a property under contract within a week. Just had to up my numbers. So that was crazy, dude. When I just applied it like that, I got a property under contract within a week.
Listen, David, everybody thinks that, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, I'm already doing that. And that's fine. Maybe they are, but sometimes you need the extra direction. You need the extra expertise and the extra experience in there. So something interesting that you said, 300 to 400 calls. The interesting thing about making calls is typically you're getting a 7 to 10% contact rate. So you're making 300 calls, but you're only talking to 21 to 30 people. Right. And we know by the stats that you have to talk to 200 people to get a deal. So that means that you're calling through typically upwards to 2,500 addresses to talk to enough people to get a deal. And everybody goes, oh my gosh, that sounds so unbelievable. But break it down by the numbers. So if you spend 20 hours a week making calls, and you're talking to, let's call it 10 people an hour and you're getting 200 conversations that week, you're doing a deal a week. Like that's the deal.
Yeah.
The tough part is, and you're an exception to the rule, but you had already been building momentum, is typically it takes 90 days from the time that you talk to somebody to the time that you actually close and get paid on that. So that's just some interesting stats for everybody out there listening. But, if you're starting out and you don't have a huge marketing budget and you can't afford, and you're in a major market, or you're in a major market and you can't afford the upwards to $5,000 to $20,000 per deal that you have to spend in marketing, well, then you have to get referrals. Well, referrals take some time because you got to tell everybody that you know, and you got to talk to agents, and you got to talk to other investors and tell them that you're interested in finding these properties, and you got to wait around for them to send you those referrals, and that takes some time. If you want to get in action right now, and you're the type of person that's like, you know what, I want to put in the work. I want my Rocky cut scene where I'm pounding the phones. You know what I mean? I'm working hard and everything's going crazy. Then TTP is the way. You got to pick up the phone. You got to pick up the phone, or you got to knock on doors. It's up to you. And knocking on doors typically is seasonal. So if you want to keep year-long momentum, you pick up the phone and you learn the skills of having a good quality conversation with the distressed property owner. And once you do, David's going to explain some of the results that you get, but it works. I mean, it's just a numbers game. Nobody can come up to me and be like, you know what? I don't think it's a numbers game. I think I could talk to 1 million people and I'm not going to get a deal. It's impossible. It's impossible, right? I mean, they will literally fall on your lap if you talk to enough. Yeah. David, let's talk about in 2021, I have here in my notes, 95,000 you made on 8 deals so far this year, and we're just past the halfway point. 10 deals for $220,000.
Oh yeah.
How does that feel?
Oh, it feels great, man. It's just like everything's just getting better, and the spreads are getting big, deals are getting bigger, and confidence is going up, and it feels pretty good.
So let's break down a deal. Let's do this thing. Let's give everybody a really good, clear picture of what it takes to find a big deal, because you had a month where you closed a flip and a wholesale, and both of them were significant. So I'd like, if you would, to kind of break down both of those.
Okay. Yeah, man. So the flip was a property that I actually just saw a sign like 3 or 4 down. It was like 3 doors down from my house, dude. I was walking out to my car, saw for sale by owner. And this is where, you can't be scared to talk to people. So I just went and talked to the owner. She wanted, I think it was 100,000. And I was like, there's no way this property fixed up would be worth 145. And it wasn't in terrible shape. Like a tenant had just moved out, but I was just like, man, I know I can get it for less. So I think I offered I offered $65,000. So you gotta be able to offer, and be confident in your numbers, because a lot of times people just have a number that makes no sense, and you got to call the sellers out on their number that makes sense. We ended up settling at 73,000. So I bought that, and I actually funded it in a way that wasn't too great at the time, but I thought it was really good. So
how'd you fund it?
So I had someone that I knew through a personal connection that would fund the purchase price, and then I'd have to fund the rehab out of pocket.
Yep.
And so I had $30,000 saved up at the time from other wholesale deals. So I was like, okay, I can do this, no problem. And I thought that me and my brother were going to do the work and fix it up. So I took that on while I'm trying to do wholesale, while I'm trying to work a full-time job. So that was something that I realized, man, this is definitely a lot harder than it looks, but I was stuck. I had to do it, and it took us a long time in between, because my brother was working another job. I was working a full-time job, trying to wholesale at the same time. So we started doing the work. I had 2 other brothers. One doesn't live in Cincinnati, but I had help from them. And my dad, like, it was a whole family thing. Like, this guy there, I appreciate my family so much and all that they've done for me, because it's really, really helped me out when I needed help. But we got that done. The house ended up needing new electric. We gutted the whole kitchen, put the whole kitchen back together, new floors, new cabinets, new countertops. We didn't completely redo the bathroom. painted the whole outside of the house, all new landscaping. But the market just started going crazy. So I was getting anxious about how long it was going to take. It took us 10 months to finish the work, which should have probably taken 3 or 4 months. But hey, we stuck in there and did it. And so ended up doing that. And so that one sold in April of 2021. And so I bought it for $73,500. We put $47,000 into it. So what is that?
You put how much?
$47,365.
Mm-hmm.
So let me add that
120,
up.
500.
Was that 125?
120 and 500.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we listed it at 159.9, and then offers just started going crazy. Bids started coming in, and people bid. It ended up selling for 193.
193. You listed at 159 and it sold for 193.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
what
dude.
did you take home net in your pocket from that deal?
So then
Do you
the
remember?
realtor, gets their amount. I don't remember off the top of my head. Let me do that math real quick.
Just give me a round.
Ended up taking home about 55,000 from that.
Hold on a second. All right, now let's get to the wholesale that you did. So you said 59,000?
About 55.
55,000.
Maybe
Okay.
a little bit more than that, but I have to go back and look.
Did you pay your family?
Oh yeah, paid my brother. He didn't get paid what he should have, but he knew that going in that he was going to help me and it was going to turn into something else. So I made 55,000 on that one. I'll tell you about the wholesale deal that I did.
Yep.
I was like, dang, why am I flipping right now with wholesaling? But another personal referral. He's almost like a pastor. He's a pastor of a church. Knew some people that were having a tough time. They were both unemployed, both not doing very good things, both kind of into drugs, I would say. And then they had some trouble with their uncle that was kind of like a drug dealer. So it was a very crazy story. And their uncle was like coming after them. I think they had a drive-by at their house. Like someone shot up their house, which was crazy. Like I didn't want to get in the middle of that, but I knew what my buyer would probably come in at. I knew that they like to buy at close to 105,000 with agent commissions and all that, depending on the work that this house needed.
Yeah.
And I don't know what came over me, but I was there in the house with that situation, talking to them. There was trash everywhere in the upstairs, throughout the whole house, broken bottles, like just terrible. The house didn't smell great, but it's like, man, this house doesn't need that much work. Just really needs to be cleaned out, needs some cosmetic, maybe upgrades, but that was about it. So probably close to about 25,000 you could put into it and it'd be ready to go. And I was just bold and brave enough that I offered them $35,000 for their house.
Mm-hmm.
And some people might look at that as trying to take advantage, but I knew that, they needed the money and I knew that I could do a quick close that way. But we ended up settling on $42,000. They agreed to that. They signed a contract, and I had a hedge fund that I knew was going to. They came and did a walkthrough, and they offered a little bit less than I thought, but they ended up offering $95,000 on that one. And then, if you sell it to them, you sell it to their agent, so you have to pay like a 3% commission. On that one. And then I agreed to pay for their U-Haul. I agreed to pay $500 for them to get a U-Haul because I knew if I put it in my name that I'll never see that U-Haul again. So they're going to steal it or do something with it. And so I paid that for them. And then I paid a $1,500 finder's fee for that. So I ended up walking away with about a little over $47,000 from that deal.
So real quick, from the first time that you talked to him to the time that you got paid $47,000 net, how long of a timeline was that?
So we signed a contract, I think April 29th. Deal closed. Sorry, no, March, end of March. Sorry.
Okay.
And the deal closed beginning of May, like May 5th.
Okay, so about a month,
Mhm.
maybe 6 weeks.
Yeah, a little bit over a month. Yeah.
So, and you made 47
Yes.
in 6 weeks,
In 6 weeks,
not 10 months,
not 10 months.
not having to bring in your 3 brothers and your dad,
Yeah, exactly.
not having to swing a hammer,
Right. Not have
not
to do
having to paint
anything.
an exterior. Like I am telling you, the magic is in finding the deals. And remember, the buyer determines value. This whole fantasy that everybody has that their house is worth what it's worth. It was worth 42,000 to you. It's worth something more to a hedge fund. The hedge funds will always pay more for it. It was worth 42,000 to you. That's what you locked it up for. There's nothing taking advantage there. That's the price that you were willing to pay for that property, and it's the price that they were willing to take for that property. It's just what is a seller willing to take, and what is a buyer, ready, willing, and able buyer willing to pay. That's the fact.
Yeah.
Value comes down to who has the money to give it to somebody else. That's the value. It's absolutely incredible. Well, congratulations, 47,000.
Heck yeah, dude. I love that bell. I was waiting to
So,
hear that.
listen, man. I mean, those two and those closed about the same time.
One closed the month before. The flip closed the month before.
That's a good couple of months.
Yeah. Then that
How
closed
did
in
that
May.
feel?
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, that's what kind of gave me the confidence. I was like, man, I'm working hard at this 9 to 5, and I quit my job full time in real estate now.
I love it. I love it. Well, tell everybody, a lot of people are going to hear this. A lot of people in Cincinnati are going to hear this. So a lot of people around the country, and maybe they just want to reach out to you. Maybe they want to just say, David, congratulations. They want to pick your brain a little bit. They want to have a conversation with you and start a relationship with you. How do people get a hold of you that are listening or watching this and they're inspired and they just kind of want to be in your world?
Yeah, man. I would love to hear from him. I'm going to be bold and put my phone number out there.
Geez.
Yeah.
All right. I'm warning you. I mean, listen, if he's putting his number out there, call him
Yeah.
or text him. What is it?
Blow me up. It's 513
Uh-huh.
967
Mm-hmm.
2963.
Awesome. 513-967-2963.
Yes,
David
sir.
Niehaus. That is absolutely incredible. And so what do you see? What's the big goal in real estate? A lot of times, we get into this with the thought of, oh, I want to own, 500 doors, or I want to lend money, or I want to be a developer. All of these big goals that we have, and then we realize, wait, before we can get there, we have to actually find deals and bring some income in. And then once we realize that and we get to work on that and we're committed at that, and we start getting these deals in the door and start closing, getting the experience, then we start building towards that dream. So what's the dream?
Dude, I'm dreaming big. Definitely growing the wholesale business. I mean, why not try to go for $1 million a year?
Love it.
You do it. I don't know why someone like me couldn't do that with the right people around me. And I'm already seeing like real estate. I'm doing another flip right now, and my first rental. I'm going to be refinancing that one, so doing a burr on that one because it was a really good deal. But I'm involving my family still, dude. I'm helping them out. They're making better money than what they were making. So it's really I've been blessed with this opportunity to really help the people around me and be able to, help them want better for their lives too. So that's what I really see going to the moon, man. I really see that.
I love it. I love it, David. That is absolutely incredible. Give some advice to everybody that's just starting out. Maybe this is their first podcast that they've ever listened to about wholesaling, or maybe they've been listening and they haven't quite taken action yet. What advice would you give to somebody starting out to give them the right mindset to be able to go out there and actually make a difference in their community and help these property owners that are in distress?
Yeah, it's all about building relationships, and you never know when someone will need to sell. So I had a lot of deals closed just based off a relationship. Just telling people that you buy houses. Just telling people that, you'll be surprised how many deals might come of that. So I would say, start telling people that you're in real estate, they're going to be buying houses, what you want to do, and find someone in your local market that is successful, and see what value you can bring to them. What can you do for them and to help, so that they can help teach you about real estate.
I love it. Perfect. David, thank you so much for being on here. You're very brave to put your phone number out there. Sky's the limit for you, brother. And I'm so excited that I've been able to be a part of it and watch you grow and watch you really develop and have these huge, huge months. So congratulations. Stay focused. Ugly houses, big checks. Keep building that up. And next time we interview you, I'm sure you're going to be in that $1 million business. So thank you for being on here, David.
Thanks awesome. So much for having me, Brent. Appreciate it.
You got it. And for everybody else, if you're interested in joining the most proactive group in real estate investing, it is the TTP family, the TTP coaching program. Go to wholesalinginc.com/TTP. That's wholesalinginc.com/TTP. Check out what it's all about. Check out the incredible people that I've had the fortune to work with personally. Check out what the program is all about. And if you're looking for a community that's getting together every single day, this is the one. I am telling you, it is absolutely phenomenal. We'd love you to be a part of it. So check that out, wholesalinginc.com/TTP. And that is it for me. I will sign off as I always do. That was incredible. David just did a great job there. That was wonderful. But I will sign off as I always do, encouraging you to go out there and talk to people. Till next time. Love you guys.